back. Welcome back to the Pear Pod. Thank you for supporting the last episode. Apologies for the delay in getting new episodes out. Been busy, but delighted to say that we have a bunch of episodes coming out, starting with Dublin rapper Grahamo. Grahamo, thank you for coming on, boy. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I saw your the first time I saw you was the freestyle you put out that I messaged you about on TikTok, and there's a couple of bits I want to ask you about that off the bat. We'll go back and hear about your early life and stuff. But with that freestyle, were you your mate when he's talking about it? He asks you like, "Are you going to spit something?" Were you planning on doing something at that moment?
No. I wouldn't usually kind of do something like that.
Well, what was the inspiration to do at that time?
The boys, Bino, Cobbs, two other members of the Straight Collective, they spasm. So I was like, yeah, I'll have to jump in on this.
So what is this case? Do you have that loaded? Like, do you have...
That's a track, yeah. So basically that would have been pre-written, recorded, different beat, different track.
Yeah.
And it's just bars that I know off the top of my head. And I was like, yeah, this sound nice on this beat.
Because you can hear your mate even after you do it. He's like he laughs because he was like, yeah. How do you have that loaded in you? Like, it's mad.
Yeah. Most rappers would have like a little arsenal of stuff that...
That's kind of my question. Is like when that comes, obviously you hear the beat and stuff and you're like, that just flows nicely with what I have in my head. Yeah. But to kind of, was that first take, just spot that out and then
you were done? Yeah. Oh, it was just the boys went and then I was like, I had to bounce.
That's kind of part of the like the creative process, or like having musicians on this particularly. Because I find even, have you seen stuff like Pen Game and stuff going on in the UK right now? It's like the rap battle stuff. Like it's you're seeing a lot of like young talent coming through now. So seeing people being able to like freestyle off the top like that. But the difference I think between you and those guys is the words you use, the language you use, like the way you put your raps together is great. Like it's not just, you know, just to rhyme, like the actual things you're saying.
Has meaning behind it.
There's depth behind it, do you know what I mean?
Fact. A lot of lads can rap, but a lot of lads can't say something when they're rapping.
It's the difference, like a rapper and an artist, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but some people, they can rap, they're not saying shit, but it's still fun to listen to.
And I guess,
you know, that kind of way.
What's more important to you?
It's a fine balance. Like you kind of have to have fun with it as well as have something that you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way. That's just me personally, because I feel like, how am I going to justify saying that if it doesn't mean it? That's just me.
Like, I feel like there's rappers you can listen to in the club that will come on in like a club on a night out and you're like, yeah, it's fucking beast. Like someone like, my mates always give me shit for like people like, you know, G-Eazy from the States. Like he makes club music.
He's playing over here recently.
Yeah. He would do like club music, but I wouldn't necessarily listen to him if I was like smoking a joint out, like, you know, trying to listen to something, you know?
No one's saying play a G-Eazy song. Like nobody's requesting a G-Eazy song.
And then but then you've lads to listen to who's like the depth of their actual lyrics is what you stay for. So.
Yeah. There's some sick Irish MCs out there, man. Really good Irish MCs.
Like I'm coming up, there's a few of my mates are big into Irish rap right now. Like I got onto Maliki like years ago. I remember my mate showed me him. Have you seen Khaki Kid? Is that his name?
Khaki Kid's killing at the man.
Blowing up, man. One of my mates was on me to try and
handsome motherfucker, like, so the women love him, like, you know what I mean? It's hard to compete with that, like, you know what I mean?
He's got a very unique style, and a very unique, like, even
it's
sound.
A happy-go-lucky vibe, and it's like his latest thing where he's in a swimming pool and he's like, the visuals are just insane, like, and the song's catchy as well. It's a pure radio hit. Like,
it's a weird way, like, he doesn't rap. Like, I wouldn't call it a stereotypical rap. That's what's interesting to hear.
He's in his own lane, you know, so it's interesting to see. Shout out to Khaki Kid.
Yeah, man. Killing it, podcast, you cunt.
Come on.
He had have you seen a kind of rise, maybe in the last 5 years, 10 years, of like the Dublin scene and like Irish creators coming up, like Jazzy as well. We talk a lot about there's only like, what do you think is kind of inspiring that? Just like the internet culture now, people can start kind of out of nothing. Yeah,
I think the people are just like starting to give less of a fuck about what other people think. And I think that's a good thing, because I think Ireland for a lot of years was kind of like, you couldn't do a certain thing because everyone else wasn't doing that thing. And if you were, you're a fucking weirdo. But now it's cool to be a fucking weirdo. So it's like, be as weird as it. The weirder, the better. You know, that kind of way.
It's almost like a lot of lads I have on are pursuing something like a passion of some description. And they're like, it's you're a fucking loser until you're the fucking coolest guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like if you at the start when you're like, lads, I want to rap, they're like, fuck me.
Yeah, when I was growing up, like, some of my mates were like, oh, that's deadly. But some of the boys are like, rapping, would you cop yourself on? But I'm like, I enjoy it, man. I don't give a shit what you think. Like,
and what was it like initially, like music in general? When did that start for you? Or when did you have the inspiration to do it?
My brother probably, man. My brother was like always kind of like into music, but like he wasn't really necessarily into rap. He did kind of like Eminem, but to begin...
Who didn't? Like...
Yeah, to begin with, my introduction to rap would have been Limp Bizkit. And I only kind of copped this like last year or something. I had like a little throwback in my head. And I was like, shit, yeah, that's kind of how I got introduced to rap. I think me and Aaron having a conversation, and it was like, oh yeah, how did you get introduced to rap? And I was like thinking about, actually, I think it was Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst. I used to like his stuff, and then that kind of went from him to Eminem to like Lil Wayne, Lil Wayne to like Drake to J. Cole, and then like just
what a run.
Yeah.
And do you get like, number one, you can enjoy music, you can be listening to lots of music.
Yeah.
Like, when are you like, fuck man, I feel like number one, it's something I'd like to pursue, but then number two, I could actually be quite good at this. Do you know what I mean? Like, those are big steps to make from like, I like rap music, I like to listen to rap music. Yeah. I've no intention of being a rapper, I don't think I'd be any good. I definitely don't think I could write very well. So like, what was it that was like, I want to start pursuing this a little bit?
Still, like I work full time in construction, have done for like all my life since I'm able to work, and it's like that's where I make my money. That's where the bread comes from. So I'll always pick work, family life. Music is a hobby, and it's probably gonna always be a hobby for me. You know, that kind of way. Unless opportunities start popping up where it's like, oh, the income you can make from this can surpass the income you can make from your actual career, and I take it a lot more seriously, and I'd probably pursue it a bit more. But at the minute, it's like I enjoyed it just being a hobby. Yeah. Because there's no pressure, there's no fucking, like, obviously we have to do gigs and there's stuff we have to do, and you have to, like, it's like extra work type of thing. But it's for the love of it.
And when you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like work.
No,
and
yeah,
like,
fact.
Even for this podcast, like, this is a passion of mine. And if this was suddenly my full-time career and I have to do 5 podcasts a week, I'm sure that the enjoyment, the love of it would start to be past sight.
Yeah, straining.
It's a stress, man.
Yeah, it's straining.
It's nice to hear. I had Ev Wild on this podcast, who was a very similar situation to yourself. He's like, he goes to work construction all day, or he gets up before, starts working on his music, goes construction for the whole day, comes home, works on it again. And he has a similar outlook to yourself of like, number one, I have to earn this, and it's not realistic for me to be like, I'm going to drop everything and just be a rapper. Like, you know, bills to pay. In some cases, like, families to look after. You can't just be selfish with it.
In Ireland, there's probably like a handful of people I can think of that have actually like said, right, fuck this, I'm gonna like stop working full time and go at this full time. But I don't think there's many of them that are making like a livable earning off it.
I would say it's that threshold to be like, I have so much consistent work now for the next year. I can't work construction. I have so much guaranteed stuff. I think that's a huge jump to make. I'm going to leave all this behind, you know?
Especially in Ireland at the minute, it's getting to that point, but I don't know if it's necessarily at that point where you have to be very, very lucky and well connected as well.
What kind of gigs can you do, like, you know, and on a yearly basis? Like, what kind of shows can you get invited to do, or are you doing your own personal shows?
Mix of both. So through the label Outstraight Records, like, that would be who I'd work with. So anything I get would come through them. Or you could get like a random DM being like, oh, do you want to do a show? Like, we got a DM on, I think it's on my TikTok. And the young lad was like, oh, we'll just do a birthday party. Like, and I was yeah, he's like, if it was something that like people wanted, or like it was something like someone wanted, I'd be like, yeah, do a birthday party, because like it's for the crack. Like, we'll take it serious. Like, if the young lad fucks with us enough that he wants us at his birthday, like his 18th, that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Shouts to Outstraight.
Do you have when you first performed, do you remember the first time you performed?
First time I performed was through Courtesy. Courtesy is an animal, killing it at the minute. Shouts to Courtesy. Through him, and I think it was a Delirium ran event. Where was it? In town, up along the Lewis line somewhere. Mad random. Me, Courtesy, Julian Knifefist. I'm not sure if you know him.
No, I don't.
I brought my friends. Julian Knifefist, he's a real good artist, like real sick, but like he was doing this stuff where he was rolling around the floor and all. My friends thought they were coming to a hip hop show, and they're like, what is this shit, bro? And I'm like, I don't know. I just came here to do my bars. I don't know what's going on. This is my first gig and shit like that. But it was a good show. It was a good show. Courtesy done his thing. I had some tracks with him. He had some tracks with me. So we kind of like shared the set and stuff like that. So
did you have a little moment where you're like, fuck man, this is what I want to do? Like did it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, that wasn't my first time performing in front of people. I done a rap battle fucking years ago. So like that was my first time performing in front of people. So that kind of like broke that. nervousness from that. But that was my first ever show, was through Delirium, through Courtesy.
Is it true that like you know, when people talk about performing on stage and like the kind of feeling you get, almost like a drug, that you get that feeling, then people kind of just pursuing that? Can you understand like when you do it, like the crowds fucking feeling what you're saying?
When now it's not every show. Some shows are fucking crickets, like, you know. Some crowds just it's not gonna click with every crowd. Some crowds are fucking amazing, and you feed off that as an artist. Like when you hear, like for instance, when you hear people saying your shit back to you, like, of course that's gonna pep you up. Like if you can say 3/4 of a bar and let the crowd finish the end of it, catch your breath for a second and start the next.
You feel like that's fucking that's God shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you know what I mean? It's like you feel it's mutual respect between you and the person that's saying it back to you. It's like shit. Like anyway.
Do you number one, do you like, you were saying like you for if you were going to go and make this huge, like do you see an opportunity like in Ireland to grow, or do you feel like you'd need to go like travel the UK and stuff to kind of grow it? Like it is tough in Ireland right now. Social is helping, but it's hard to take that next step,
everyone kind of has to like branch out from Ireland if you want to be successful as a musician in general. I think Ireland is like a stepping stone. It's like obviously nowhere else to start, but you're not gonna like complete your journey here. You'll have to expand to the UK. You'll have to expand to the US. It's like it's the process. It's the evolution of every artist when they become big, like
especially in art. Like I don't know what the hip hop scene is like now. I'd say it's growing like year on year. It's getting bigger and bigger.
When I started doing this shit compared to now, like it used to be not cool to rap. Now it's cool to rap. Like
it's if I can give you a massive compliment, I've listened to like previous Irish rappers, and I don't think people or lads have found some people kind of hide their Dublin accent or hide their Irish accent and try to make it more UK sounding. And I feel like you do I feel like your voice encapsulates the Dublin accent perfectly, but also just sounds great on beats. Like, do you have you heard, like, do you find that as a way that people are like, I love hearing an Irish accent and someone that's rapping? Did you ever try and, I've
heard both ends of it. Like, I've heard both ends where people are like, oh, fucking Irish accent or a Dublin accent, should be rapping with a Dublin accent. And I'm like, what other fucking accent can I use? Like, it's not like, I know lads who do, like, obviously there's like a heavy, like, kind of grime scene in Ireland where the English accent is heavily portrayed, and it's like, right, it sounds cool. Like, it sounds cool, but like that's not how you speak. And if it is how you speak, that's fucking put on. Do you know what I mean? Like, or like yous are all speaking like that, so like yous are all kind of putting it on type of crack, and it's just like, you don't go home and speak to your ma like that. Do you know what I mean? So like, don't fucking. Well, look, if each to their own. I'd always, you can't hate. If a lad's out there and he's enjoying himself and he's making music, and can't hate.
I'd always say that, I'd always back someone who's like, no, I'm going to be myself, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't.
That's my opinion on it as well. Like, not be original, but be who you are. Yeah, and if people don't like it, then
everyone else is taken. Like, you know what I mean?
In fact,
do you have when you write music? When do you like to write? I've had lads on who like to write in the evenings, go off on their own. Sometimes they feel like in the morning.
Could be like, I'm one of these. Like, I'll think of something. I could be driving up the road, and I'll. You know the way you can like speech to text, go onto me notes real quick, and I'll be like, I had to get that like down, just a little small idea. I have thousands of them in my notes.
You're afraid to lose it, like
just like being a stoner, like, do you know what I mean? You say something, you think something, and then something will happen. You look out the window and you look back and like fucking walking down into the kitchen. What the fuck did I come here again for? Do you know what I mean? Like same kind of crack. So if I had a little idea, I'll write it down. But like, I never like force myself to write. It's never like, oh, I have to go home tonight and I have to write. Unless like it's a deadline on something and I actually do have to. But like, no, I'll never, like, it just happens randomly, spontaneously. It could go weeks, months without writing. And then I could write like a shit ton of stuff in the space of a few days.
And I guess that's kind of like what we're talking about in terms of turning it from a passion into a career. Do you know what I mean? Because the more you turn that into a career, the more you're going to have to. Pressure's on. I need the album
There's
done next month.
Knocking at the door saying, where's that next project? Where's that next single? You have to come do this. And like, this is optional for me to come here.
We've got 3 shows
like,
next week. I need you there.
You have to come to this podcast this morning. Then after that podcast, you have to do another 2 interviews. And I mean, it's a busy one.
And do you like, there's definitely got to be a part of you that's like, I don't want to turn the thing that I've like been able to escape and have my own thing and turn that into a career, man, you know?
It's a thing where it's like, will it take the fun out of it? You know, because as it's just a hobby, it's fun to do. It's on my terms. But if it's not on my terms, I don't know. It could be something where like I would enjoy it because like in work, like any job I've ever done, I've kind of like excelled at start off working at the bottom and you work up like supervisor, manager, or, you know, the team leader type of crack. Like, so I'd be confident in myself that if I did have to, if I was put in a situation, I'd fucking have to do it. Like, there's no other choice. It's either sink or swim. Like.
And the structure you could be like, fuck man, now it could be the making it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could get the opportunity. But right now, all you can kind of do is keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have when you talk about specifically, like obviously I saw you through social media and stuff like that. Do you like doing social media videos, stuff like that? I can see you probably fucking don't. Like, but do you then see the rise in your socials when you have a video?
Yeah,
there's
a plus side to it. Like,
that's the
I see
part.
other lads. Like, I see other lads in the label, like Bino. Bino kills it with the content.
I
like,
just
Bino's
watched this video before he came on.
Is on the ball. Do you know that kind of way? He looks great in front of a camera. I'm real fucking nervous in front of a camera. I'm like, shit, I don't like taking photos. I don't like being on video, but I know it's something that I have to do for people to hear and see me shit. Like, you can put music out all day on Spotify. No one's going to fucking hear it.
You can have the best shit.
Yeah, no one's going to hear it. You have to back it up with promo. You know, that kind of way. You have to have visuals on socials for people to engage and be like, oh, who's this? Do you know, that kind of way? And the better them visuals look, the better it's perceived. Yeah. You know, that kind of way.
The better it gets pushed on. Like, oh, this
and the algorithm, this shit fucking...
It's not all equated to talent, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of it.
Definitely. I've seen some...
There's killers out there that no one knows about. You know?
Yeah, fact. There's a young lad, probably similar age to myself, Edgy. He's from Liverpool or Manchester or something. Man, he's killing it at the minute. Killing it. His bars are fucking unbelievable. Like, as a writer, I think other writers would know this. Like, as a writer, you instantly appreciate someone else's writing talent. When you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's fucking... This chap knows. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people... Like, there's a lot of lads rapping, in my opinion. There's not a lot of lads writing, like...
Eaters.
Sharp pen. You know, that kind of way. Yeah, like, there's not a lot of lads doing that. There's a lot of lads who can write and it sounds catchy and it sounds cool, but like when you get into the intricacy of it and when you're like, shit, that he said that, and then 2 minutes later he said that and it tied it all back in. There's different ways.
And it's interesting that like someone like me or like music in general right now, you can write a banging hook and like you can have a viral video. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be 3 verses of absolute heat. So when you hear someone be like, it's almost, I'd say a lot of it goes unappreciated. Do you know what I mean? Not like regular listeners. Like,
I always think
there's all these metaphors and shit.
Yeah, when I'm writing something, I'm like, will anyone even understand this? Like, is there any point of going to these lengths? Because who's gonna fucking know what I'm talking about here? But then you get the odd time where someone quotes something and you're like, yo, this fella's tuned in. Appreciate that. Fuck with you heavily. Thank you. You know, that kind of way. That comes along every now and again, and it's just like a little small bit of confirmation that people are listening. People are picking up on things.
When I do videos and shit, like obviously I do videos for clients and I'll spend hours like color grading and shit like that. And I send it over and they go, oh my God, the shots are so cool. Like the worst shots I put in that I had to put in, they're like, I love this one. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense because I'll kill myself for these 3 shots and they go, can you take that one out? And I'm
it's mad though when you look at it from a different perspective. It's like what you think people will like versus what people like. It's 2 completely different things.
And that's the job end of it. It's not, if I was making these videos for fun for myself, I can make it any way I want. But as soon as I make it a job and it's for other people,
customers always right.
It's them,
Customers always right.
You mentioned there when we were chatting outside, you have a daughter. How did like having a kid kind of change the way you think about your rap career? Did it like spur you on to be like, if I'm going to do this, I got to push at it? Or is it like, I now have a different priority and that needs to get more focused than my rap, and if I can do it on the side, I still will?
It made me think twice about what I was saying, type of thing, because I'm like, eventually she'll hear this. How is she going to perceive it? Is she going to think, shit, my dad's a fucking prick, you know? Yeah. So it's like, I have to be mindful. And like the situation with my daughter, it's like, it didn't happen conventionally, you know, that kind of way. So it wasn't like, oh, I see this girl, I have a daughter, it's happily ever after. It didn't happen conventionally. I found out she was my daughter when she was 3. So I didn't have that initially in my head when I first started making music. I wasn't even posh because I wasn't aware. Like, I got a daughter. Probably started writing when I was like 16-ish. And she would have been conceived when I was 17. Didn't find out about her till I was 20.
Yeah.
So like by the time I found out about her, she had a different, like a dad.
Yeah.
The
Father figure or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. So like when I found out, initially like I was like it's gonna change everything type of thing. But it didn't change a whole lot because it wasn't like she didn't live with me, so I didn't have to be like, I have to go home every night because she lives with her mom. She has like a father figure there, what she calls dad, stuff like. So she's happy, she's healthy. I'm happy, another kind of way. She doesn't look for anything. But yeah, back to the question, the way I write definitely changed after I found out.
Yeah, it's just
I'm like,
all wholesome stuff. Like,
well,
no, I'm not joking.
it's not all wholesome, but I have to be mindful when I'm speaking about women or like stuff like that. I have to be like, right, I have a daughter, so I can't say that. That's what she's gonna think. Is that she's gonna think that's how I think. So you have to hold back.
As we're coming up to the first half here, you mentioned that you're obviously signed with the record or with the label now.
Yeah.
When that was coming up and like, you know, you're coming up, you're not signed with anyone. Are you thinking like that's the next step for me is if I can get some representation, work with a label that's going to give me the tools I need to kind of kick on? Or were you kind of thinking if it comes, it comes?
Yeah. It wasn't something I saw. It was like Aaron, who runs the label along with Lewis. Aaron and I just kind of became friends. He asked me to do a couple of events. We both had similar interests, and it was just more like a friendship. And then when he kind of wanted to build out straight into like more of a label and solidify it as something, rather than just have it like sporadic and stuff like that, he kind of gave me the nudge, being like, "Would you like to be a part of this? We have some other artists. We're thinking of like Bino, Don Cobbs, Gigi Karma, Panda Dre,
Save a roster,
Concan." There's I think 12 of us.
And I think that's got to be the best way if you're going to get into that, to do it as like non-official. You know, some people that are being signed.
Yeah,
like,
it was so natural. It's a natural fit. Yeah, it was so natural. It was like there's no pressure. We're doing this thing here. We'd like you to be a part of it. If you don't want to be a part of it, that's cool. But if you do want to be a part of it, that's even cooler. And we'd like you to do that. So it was kind of like, it's cool.
Did you go from, obviously you said your mates in the past when you first started rapping, like it wasn't a cool thing, or like your mates weren't mad about it at the time. Have you found a massive difference being able to collaborate with people that also want to rap, and like even being in studio with like 4 other lads also trying to rap like that?
Definitely. Like you feed off other people's energy, I feel. When you're in a space creating with other creatives, it's just gonna work naturally. But on the other hand, if you're in a space with other creatives and your creative juices aren't flowing, it can be very frustrating, because other people are sitting there and they're writing verses are hitting, and you're sitting there going, shit, like I can't write on the spot like this. Like it's like I don't. That's what I'm going back to. Like I don't force it. It's like when it happens, it happens.
But as you said as well, like all those artists probably relate to that. So then when you say, lads, it's not coming today, they've all had days where it's not coming.
Yeah. Like there recently, myself and all the boys were working on a top secret thing coming soon. But Don Cobbs came in one day and wrote one of the nicest verses I feel like he's ever written. Performed it, recorded it, all in like the space of a few hours, and I can't stop listening to it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, I got jealous because I was like, shit, I didn't come here like that today. I had like something pre-written that I felt like would work on the beat. Don Cobbs came, made a show of us all, risked something savage.
He was probably coming in that day being like, I'm about to blow this place up.
Yeah, it was like, and he says it, he keeps saying it. He's like, oh, I was in my pocket that day, bro. I was in my pocket that day. And I was like, fuck, man, you're killing shit.
Do you have upcoming like projects that you're working on, like mixtapes, albums, things like that?
Yes.
Can you talk about any of that?
Because nothing's actually like solidified. I just have a fucking shit ton of music recorded, ready to go.
How have you found the process of like putting a structured piece together? Do you know what I mean? Versus just tunes.
Nightmare. Because you have to when you're building an album, like you have to have like a concept. You have to have like these tracks kind of meshing in.
It can't just be one heater, like a load of random ones that you like. There has to be like cohesion.
Well, it can be. It can. We did that with Irish Gold. Was just random bangers. We just said, fuck it, we make an Irish Gold. We make an album. We didn't know what we were going to call it. We didn't know what we were going to do with it. We were like 16 tracks, 15 and an interlude. Oh no, what was it? 14 tracks, interlude, intro and outro. 14 tracks, intro. So that's it, 16. And we're like, fuck it, we'll just throw these together. see how they sound like. And they sounded nice together. So we're like, yeah, we'll call this an album. That kind of way.
How do you approach if you were like, I want to get a feature on? Like, do you have when you're putting tunes together, you'd be like, fuck, Beano, be good on this. Like, do you have people in your head you think would work well?
Yeah, yes. When I put my verse on it and then I listen to the gap and I'm like, I say this. Who could fill that gap? Who would sound lovely on that beat? And if your selection then, you just text one of the boys and be like, have this track. Do you want to jump on it? And look, they might say, no, I'm not feeling it, which I completely respect because I've often done that myself. I'm very peculiar when it comes to like tracks and what I'm going to write on. I'm so fussy. Like
Aaron has joined the podcast, CEO of Ace Trade Records. Thank you for joining us.
Love that.
Cheers, thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
We'll bring you in very shortly. I just want to quickly ask Graham about, when you're trying to pick beats and some people are bringing you beats, like number one, do you have like 3 or 4 guys you like, do you go with? Can anyone approach you with a beat and throw it to you and be like, if you like it?
Yeah. Well, it's both, yeah. So I'd have my close producers where like I'm usually working with these handful of guys, and then like, fuck, if anyone, like if Annie makes beats and they're savage, like send them on. Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, I'll use anyone's beat, man. No prejudice there.
How do you? Obviously, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. You know what I mean? Like they need you, you need them. You know what I mean? So do you? I'm sure they're also protective of like, I want to make sure whoever gets on this is going to fucking, hit it. And
producers are the most precious people. They're most precious people. Can be. Yeah. It's like they spend all the time creating the beat. And then like if you're working with the same producer that's engineering, so if they're mixing and mastering for you, they spend all that time with the track. And it's like their baby then. That kind of way. So like if you duetting with that track, they can get very touchy, that kind of way. If you play the track to people that they didn't know you were going to play it to, if you put it anywhere that they didn't know you were going to put it, and so it can get a little bit tricky like that. So you have to be careful with who you work with, and you have to come to terms of like what you can do once the work is finished. What's the allowances with it like?
I can ask you this, Aaron. Actually, when you're signing people on, do you have a roster of producers you have, and then a roster of rappers that you have, or is it more so rappers and then you have guys you can go to for beats?
We have a couple of in-house producers, yeah.
Swallow that mic there for me.
It's we have a couple of producers in-house. Just definitely open to still working with others. I think Graham already kind of mentioned earlier that it wasn't really a very calculated decision at the start. We just kind of were a group of friends that came together. We were doing a lot of shows together kind of at the start, just after COVID times and stuff. And it came together very naturally. But there is 3 producers in Outstraight as well. And they'd obviously be our most frequent collaborators. And yeah, have a very strong kind of Outstraight sound behind them too. So.
And do you have would you then liaise a little bit about who gets to use certain beats or who gets to work with who? Like, are you kind of connecting those people together, or is it very much like a natural kind of, he'll come in and you'll play some beats from him and they can decide?
I think it's a bit of a dogfight. I think at times it's a bit of an arena, which is good. Like, it's competitive, and we kind of want that element to it as well. But there is obviously a natural understanding with some people more so than others. Like Khaki works very closely with Graham.
The boys should send in beats into the group chat.
Getting snaps, yeah.
There's a fucking free for all. Bagsy that thing, man. Boys, fuck off.
There could be a beat in a group chat for 5 minutes and it's gone.
It's
so
gone.
You have to kind of be on the ball. Like,
I want that for my solo project. No one's getting a feature on it. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
So there's a lot going on.
Is it first come, first served? Is that how it works? Like, or would the producer be like, look, Beano's saying, but I kind of see Grahamo on this one.
Yeah, that happens too. That happens. Scott's
I think we like
that. No Venom.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like
producers, we have to plug the producers on the thing. We have 404.
Yep.
We have Hickey. And we have No Venom. 3 sickos. 3 of Ireland's fucking.
Yeah, it's a great name, yeah. But they're 3 quite different producers as well, I feel like. As well. Like Hickey's very sample based and kind of like the old 90s kind of sounds as well. He is very modern too, but that's kind of like his classical sound. Scott's a bit more varied, I think, in his approach, and he's like a different age as well.
Yeah.
And you want to have different sounds,
Exactly, yeah.
You want to be a lot of variety.
There's no point in having 3 of the same fucking producers on there.
No, but it's very natural that they have very different sounds. And then 404 is kind of like a live hardware kind of guy, so he uses like an SP machine. You see him on Instagram.
Sicko.
Yeah, he's amazing at what he does. Like, that's again a very different approach.
How do you see Outstraight kind of growing, or what are your hopes for it growing? Like, what kind of, like, even if you were looking at a couple of like pillars in time, whether it's doing a couple of shows, whether it's signing more people to a roster, whatever it is, like, what kind of the next steps you see in order for you to grow?
I think it's just grow naturally as much as possible. There's always success measures, I guess, in any business, really. Like, we've already sold out shows in the Sugar Club. Played all together now. Played Electric Picnic last year for 3 days in a row.
Sick.
And yeah, it's just that continued growth. More than anything, it's just a platform for the lads to do whatever they want with their own music and the platform then that as much as we possibly can. So I guess it depends on the music that comes out of it, really.
Yeah.
And the natural collaboration from that.
It's probably a weird industry a little bit. Like no other industry could you. It's almost like there's a level of doing it for the love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when stuff comes out, you're like, I don't even give a shit if this does well. It's such a class tune. Do you know what I mean? And you need to kind of balance the two, being like, look, there needs to be financially, we need to be sound, but also I appreciate the art and like letting the artists do their thing.
Yeah, it's always a push pull kind of thing. I guess that's kind of my role, is to be the hard ass sometimes and be like, this doesn't make sense right now, or maybe that could sound better as well, and to kind of hold a quality marker in it. But it means you have to play the hard ass sometimes. For sure.
It's vital to have someone to say, lads, give your head a shake. That's not feasible.
Yeah.
Sounds cool and all, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's Aaron works for a bank and he's cutthroat.
You need the money mind, though. You need that.
He's cutthroat.
Yeah, but I love the music more than anything else. That's the thing.
It's
Like, it's not really a business per se. Like it's not a money making machine or anything.
Yeah.
So we do this for the love of it more than
Hobby, yeah.
But man, it all fucking starts that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, as you said, do you have or I'll let you hype up Graham a little bit there. Like what kind of elements of Graham's music or Graham as a person were you like, he'd be a great fit for us? Apart from being, obviously you guys are like close friends and know each other well, but like what elements of Graham do you think would make him successful or help him be successful?
The first biggest rule I have with someone in Outstraight is like, just good people. We don't deal with dickheads.
You have to be
that kind of thing. So you have to be a good person, have to believe in the music. Obviously that's where the merit comes from, is the music first and foremost. I genuinely believe Graham's one of the best writers in the country of any genre, of anything that he's doing. The way he can kind of encapsulate a feeling or an emotion, or put someone in a place, is really, really evocative and comes across really strongly. So,
It's a great word.
Yeah, that's it for Graham for me.
And if he has do you feel like you need to push him a little bit on the social side, like putting himself out there a little bit more? Like we talked about a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Like with everybody, like kind of thing. It's everyone has different nuances as well. Like there's 12, 13 people in it, right? So some people, like say Bino, he takes it very seriously and he has a very set structure for when he's doing a project. Graham probably a little bit less so. Yeah. Like he kind of keep it on the straight and narrow in that sense. But now I'm doing different things with Bino and it's just all kind of.
But it's great. It's great to have that.
Yeah.
And like you'll see, like even off the freestyle you put out on TikTok that I obviously saw Graham through. That's as natural as it's going to get in terms of like a piece of social content. Like you just snap something there and it just happens to be heat. So like in an ideal world, that's what it is. But I think like, finding a balance between a bit of structure, even shit like this, man. I know podcasts are a pain in the hole, but like people getting to know you as a person a little bit more is only going to make them. Then they hear you fucking freestyle at the end of this and like, fuck man.
And it makes way more sense then as well when you kind of get the motivation of where it comes from.
People are like, he's not a prick, he seems like, because people have said that to me before, like randomers when I meet them like at a show and they like the music and all. After we become like close off friends, they're like, I thought you were a prick. Like you see, come across as such a fucking like not nice person. Like kind of, and I'm like, no, I'm fucking chilling. Like don't be fucking.
I feel like that's why podcasts are great because like in the past, like even with like Eminem and lads when they were huge, like you don't know the person whatsoever. You know his music, you know what he writes about, but like you know nothing behind the scenes of what he's like. And I feel like a platform like this like humanizes you a lot. People can get to know you as the person. That just makes them relate to your bars even more, you know. Sorry, I'm saying shit like bars and shit like that 'cause it's the only chance I'm going to get to do it. Like, when you talk about like doing festivals and things like that you were speaking about, do you see like when you do shows like that, do you prefer like a more intimate setting, like in a sugar club? Did you find, or like is an outdoor venue or something like that, like something you enjoy?
Just crowd. Just has to be the crowd. Like the crowd doesn't matter. You could be performing in a box bedroom, and if there's a lot of people there that fuck with your shit and they have a good energy, it's gonna be better than doing main stage IEP if the crowd aren't fucking with you. Like it's another kind of way. It's gonna be like if no one's listening or paying attention to you, you're not gonna give a shit. But if there's 5 people there that are like in awe and listening to every word and repeating every word, you're gonna be like, that was a savage show. Another kind of way. Like we done
the big romance for your album launch was
that
amazing.
was sick, yeah.
Very small.
Yeah, we played a album launch in the big romance. Was for Facts. And that was really nice because it was just like all of our close friends and people that fuck with
small
music,
intimate
like,
setting. The sound system in there is amazing. It's a Toby Hatchet. Probably about 50 people. Toby Hatchet sound system.
Bring me to the next one, will you?
Yeah, for sure.
Next album launch, we have to sort out an album for us. We have to pick some fucking songs, man. I have about 50 songs there unreleased. I have to kind of like do something with. Like,
how do you when obviously Graham's trying to put an album together and stuff like that, how do you find the balance between letting him be creative and going at his own pace and also you kind of sticking to structures and dates and deadlines that you have? Like, how do you kind of find the balance between those two?
I think giving the guys creative freedom and creative control is probably the most important thing. I feel like it'd be quite easy in my role to overstep what I should be doing at the same time, and kind of making it too much into just kind of a rudimentary schedule, like, you know, so things kind of have to be able to change, has to be fluid as well. But we would have a structure, like we'd have a meeting at the start of every year and say, this is what we want to do for the year. Make sure we're kind of not clashing with each other as well. And then just kind of have just light project management and what I'm doing. It's always a movable deadline because of the fact it's art.
Yeah.
Today, so we don't want to make it too.
We're all fucking rappers. God only knows what's going to happen the next day.
Yeah, literally. Like, so I have to be able to pivot, but we would have a set structure by month, by quarter, and then by year.
So let's say Graham comes to you. You have you've 10 records. You have an album. You have 10 records. You can go. Graham has 30 that he wants to go. Do you have to keep in mind, like, do you give Graham total control over what goes in, or are you like, look, we need something that kind of, you know, need some heavier stuff. We need some stuff that, like, you know, might get some pop play. We need something that might get through onto a TikTok or something. Like, are you thinking about those things, or are you like, I know it's a difficult thing to navigate, but you also need to kind of look at, you know, what's going to help push Graham to get bigger, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good question. I think, again, full creative control is with the guys. I want the guys to be able to be independent artists, that if they ever stepped outside of Outstraight, or if a bigger opportunity came along, say on a major international record label, that they could be their own artists as much as possible. I'd always be here to help. But I want them to run as much as they possibly can on their own. But I'm always here to kind of put the structure on things, make connections with different kind of groups and stuff as well. But that's kind of our approach.
I think that's important as well, because like not everyone has your best intentions. You know, that kind of way. Not everyone knows what good music sounds like.
That was kind of my question. Is like, there's definitely, you hear horror stories all the time of people signing with big labels and whatever it is. Number one, they leave fucking in debt.
You never hear from them again.
You don't own any of your own masters. Like, you've lost all your music.
Shit like that.
You know, everybody in Outstraight owns their own music. We're all in this together. As I said, it's not really a money making machine, but we all kind of bear the burden between us. Obviously myself as well. And yeah, it's just been going really well. We've made really good connections. We have some stuff coming from like the UK soon and stuff as well. So it is growing over time and kind of making connections now.
You're excited, like,
when you that's a big thing.
That's how we sound that, but like,
when you have
it's gonna be a madness.
I think there's a nice little moment. I was saying a lot of the guests I have on now, we're trying to build something, whatever that is. We have DJs on, we have lads trying to build businesses, whatever it is. A lot of them are still working a day job and pursuing that passion on the side. And the kind of similarity I was even talking about a while there, like the earning it and like appreciating it so much as you do a day job. Like, you have to really love something to do a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 and come home and then putting that rest of your time in the day into another passion. And I think that's what builds your when you do get that point where you're like, I can go do this full time myself, or Outstraight's big enough now where you can just work full time at Outstraight, you're going to appreciate that so much more than if you just dropped in or you were able, or financially you were able to just go at it full time from the start, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I do think the special thing with Outstraight is that it's not about the money. I think the crowd that come to the shows, like a lot of our shows are free in, or have been free in since, like, say, COVID times up until now. And even the bigger shows we do, I always want them to be cost conscious. Living in Dublin is very expensive. We all know that. And I want people to come and have that kind of escape. That's what music should be. But again, conversely, it's the same for the artists. Like, you know, so I'm not looking to make huge profits off the thing. Essentially, I'd love it to be kind of self-sufficient. And I think the sweet spot for us.
Breaking even and be happy.
Or make a little bit of money that you can reinvest it into different projects and so on.
Break even. Well, a little bit. Just a touch of profit, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think minimum of breaking even.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal.
But like, even that, like, so many people would be like, look, we're having a little show in the Sugar Club. Let's do 25 quid at the door per person, a little bit of, you know, put a little bit of money in everyone's pocket. But for you to be like, look, I want as many people to come as possible, so more people can see your artists, more people can build a fan base, and then we'll convert that into money later, you know?
Absolutely. And that's what has resonated with people, I think, a lot.
If you have to pay 25 quid and you want to ring the missus, that's 50 quid straight away before you get to town, before a drink is bought. So like,
drinks are expensive, all that kind of stuff.
That extra 20 quid, that's your fucking taxi home, or that's an extra couple of drinks for yourself and the missus, or you know, that kind of way. If you're going by yourself, that's an extra couple of drinks, or
like we could probably nickel and dime people a little bit more, but we want people to come and enjoy it, and that's what has done so well for Outstraight.
That's
over the
what's
last 5
unique.
years.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many lads in suits who would be at the top of a record label who'd be like, how can I want money coming in, I want to sell fucking merch,
extract everything.
I want to be selling hoodies for fucking 90 quid.
You don't want to be selling, starting the people that are putting you in the position that you're in either, because your fans are the people that are putting you in.
But that's unique. Do you know what I mean? So many people are trying to like financially get as much as they can, especially if you have a label rep or whoever you have whose goal is to fucking make as much money as possible. So I think that's going to stand to you in the long run. Like, I think it's fucking sick.
For sure.
When you're talking about the album now and putting it together, how many How many prospective pieces do you think you have right now to put into an album? Like how many songs do you have just sitting ready to be?
Too many.
Too many.
Virgin 50, probably. Yeah.
And how do you break down, as you said, like with
Probably more now at this stage.
Possibly, yeah, from all the other stuff that's going on.
Yeah, there's probably more. It's probably 60, 70.
and as you said, like producers, they treat their tracks like kids. So it's probably similar
Yeah.
for you with your raps that you have. How do you then go and break that down into 10, 12, 15 pieces for an album?
Just whatever fits, whatever sounds nice. Now, like I could do a thing where I could have a track completely recorded, mixed, mastered, whatever,
Like I hate it.
and then just put the bars on something else that sounds better on, and then that'll be its forever home type of crack. Like, I mean, sometimes like there could be stuff sitting there for 2 years. Like one of the tracks that we're all kind of excited about at the minute, that's been sitting there for the longest time, and I haven't wanted to record it for the longest time. And then we had a little friend visit us, and it just happened that the friend liked the track, like the whole concept of the track, like my verse. They had a verse ready within an hour, maybe, and it just happened naturally. And it's going to be probably one of the biggest tracks I've done. So like stuff like that, is kind of like you never know what's going to happen to music. You never know. It's just there's no sense of having it all sitting there. Just put it out there, and that's what the plan is for this year. It's just pump it out there.
Fuck man, you do a good job of hyping shit up. I'm sitting here wondering.
I can't say much because
I'm sitting here too.
Yeah, the boss man sitting here giving me side eyes, being like, "Don't fucking
sending emails
don't
under the
be
table."
Yeah,
Don't be telling them who it is. Don't want even an initial. Nothing.
That's just a couple of projects we're very excited about this year for sure. Will be set sooner rather than later in terms of like the announcement.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck.
coming soon.
Coming soon, motion picture style.
Yeah.
If you had like an artist, let's say someone that's in the charts right now, can be Irish, can be not Irish, can be, you know, fucking huge artist or someone smaller. What's like a dream collab you could have on, or someone you think you'd fit
J.
well with?
Cole, man.
Yeah,
Fuck's
yeah,
sake,
yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
J. Cole, come to Ireland, man. You can stay in the gaff. Look after you.
J. Cole stays in Grahamo.
Yeah.
When he comes
You
over.
can stay in the gaff. Look after you. Get the outlet to make a nice stew. Bring you the back page and all.
What kind of questions would you ask him when it was just the two of you?
God only knows, man. I'd be fangirling the fuck out. I would, man. I'd be fucking. No, I think I'd be picking his brain a lot about like what makes you tick. Like how do you write the way you write? But sure, then I think of it now. Thinking of it, it'd be like, imagine someone asked me like that. I'd be like, I don't fucking know. Like,
I think that's
probably
that's the
same,
beautiful
like.
thing. I think though is that like you'd get to know him and you'd be like at the core of it, you're both doing the same shit. He's
probably just a
blown up.
normal fucker. He seems like one of the
Seems very normal,
the
yeah.
normalest fucking
Big star. Like,
he's pure. He rides through fucking New York on a bike the whole time.
Yeah, on his push bike. Yeah.
No security, no weapons on him. Like name another big major artist that floats around Dolo like that. Nobody like.
Yeah.
And I think that like that comes across like as him as a person. It probably makes me like him more that he's not this big,
pure
flashy
humble,
dude.
like.
With a huge entourage and things like that. As we're kind of wrapping up, we're going to do a freestyle after this. But what kind of things do you have coming this year that you're excited for? It doesn't have to be obviously album like, but is there any shows or things you're kind of working towards?
Yes, we've got a 4 Owls show coming up.
What is that?
4 Owls.
Yeah.
4 Owls are a huge group from England,
Nice.
from the UK. They're fucking unbelievable. Like, so who would it be? Like Leaf Dog.
It's 4 guys: Flip Tricks, Sleeve Dog, BVA, and Verb T. And they're probably, if anyone likes like kind of early 2000s UK hip hop, kind of when it was really bubbling in that scene, they're like the biggest super group that came from that. So they're high focus records. So.
How does that collaboration come about?
Slowly over time, we did a solo show of Flip Tricks 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
Racket Space. Then last year we did Flip Tricks and Verb T, so 2 of the 4 Ls. And now we're doing the 4 of them together. So like they're kind of like the super group. They all have individual solo careers and
Fucking cool way to do it.
Yeah. So it's kind
You
of
know,
built
being
again
having the
naturally.
boys like what a little new D12 like.
Yeah, and we're going to be playing with like a live band and stuff from Belfast, Belfast Groove
Whopper.
Collective.
Belfast
So
Groove Collective.
I think that's probably why Graham's so
Groove
excited
Collective
about
are
it.
doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, Whopper.
You did the last show with us too. They're magic. So
Yeah,
see, that's why Graham's excited.
sickos, I love a live band. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be
It's
Whopper.
my favorite. I think my music sounds beautiful over a live band.
Yeah, it
Beats and
suits it
stuff
very
like
well.
that can sound nice, but like just my stuff, it's that slower pace stuff. There's more of a swing to it, and a live band,
It translates very well live.
Yeah.
That's going to be
I
nice.
enjoy it as well.
Where's that on?
The Sugar Club at the end of April.
I'm
26th.
fucking going. Is there
26th of
tickets?
April.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
coming
Yeah,
along.
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
absolutely.
I'll bring all my posh mates. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. Like,
It's on Leeson Street.
oh Jesus. Yeah, you will be fine.
Sugar Club.
Sugar Club's on Leeson Street. Yeah.
I'm actually getting married on Leeson Street. Like, that's hilarious. In May next year.
No way.
I never
Gas.
knew that was Leeson Street.
Yeah, it's
I have
Leeson
a bar
Street.
and it says something, keep the day discreet and I find your body on Leeson Street. And I didn't know
Yeah, that's
it
the bottom
was.
of Leeson Street. Was Stephen Street.
Shit.
She
Shouts
shoots
to
the video on Leeson Street. When that road's, I remember during COVID, we shot some stuff on Leeson Street because there was no cars on the road at all, and we were walking through town, and it was completely empty. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's just got orange buildings both sides, like as far as you can see. So we was walking down that, look fucking whopper.
Yeah, so that's a great fish.
Tenement.
All right, boys. Is there anything else you want to chat before we go and do a freestyle?
No, just again, thanks for having us on.
Pleasure,
Appreciate it
bro.
as always.
And use this as I said, if you have other lads you want to have on it, build a bit of a profile for, or just get to know the person a little bit more. Like, I love having musicians on.
Yeah.
Boys are definitely going to want it.
Oh yeah, I can imagine Beano's already.
Beano's in the group chat now going, boys, did you just ask him, can I go on? And
He's actually in Italy at the moment, so he's probably not too concerned.
Yeah.
I have 3 more mics, so we'll just get fucking 9 of us on next time.
Yeah, it's a big
Sit
site
around
for
the
next
table.
time then. The whole label.
The boys, all the boys are going to want to do this.
That's whopper.
Appreciate it big time.
All right, lads, we're going to do a little freestyle. We're going to finish with that, but thank you both for coming on. That's genuinely
No
was
problem.
class.
Thanks for having us, man.
Go check out Grahamo shit, man. Go check out Out Straight Records.
Look, the boy.
And yeah, that show at the end of April, I'll fucking come to that, man.
Big time.
That's
See you
good
there.
stuff. All right, lads. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah. Listen. Grahamo. Out Straight Records. Prayer Podcast. Let's go. Listen. Yeah, they attempted but they can't compete with me. Me and them do not do this shit equally. On me on frequency, know it's when I speak and we don't relate cause they hating in secrecy. Used to fuck with me, now they all beef with me. I've been thinking about how they been treating me recently. I've been searching for some decency. That's a task that I'm finding increasingly difficult. But the purpose to feast me is typical. Feel like I'm dirt in the streets, man, I'm miserable. But what's worse than the physical is the actual pain that I feel is invisible. Mommy said tell them about how you're so different and show them that you're individual. We need buddies with cameras for visuals, need that advance and residuals. And I hate that I can't be emotional. Only mates with me when it's promotional. Clear the space so I can't be approachable. It's a race, man, you kinda come close to the kid. Caption and posted the vid. Wishing this shit is stop popping for it to get traction. I swear, man, I hope that it did. And I know that your bitches start watching. I told her, like, she's been back in the gaff for a month. Despite the moaning and acting the cunt. Sick of her heard and I saying she's biked to herself. Never seen that bitch practicing once. She's me t-shirt and bike to the front. Another trigger, my pack and a blunt. Man, I can beef in the flats if I want. I mean, man, I actually don't give a rat if I don't. It's cool, I've been working on me. Putting on me hard than the beat. And it's clear from your view that I couldn't really care what you do. You're putting on your dirt on the street. I've been used to this game. Know the real swag cause you used to explain. Yeah, I've been used to this game. Know the real swag cause you used to explain. Know the real swag cause you used to. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir. Oh, that was hard. Oh, yeah.
Hard work. No, brilliant. Thank you, brother. Thanks for having us.